All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tenko Bomabaka, and then I want to use this opportunity once again to welcome you to this wonderful podcast, otherwise known as Truth Untold Reality. This is a place where truth is always being told. We don't know how it will pay you if we tell you the truth, but the truth we say, we must say the truth. Okay? All right, our guest today is by name, in fact, he's a sound engineer, he's a computer engineer, he's a phone engineer. He is every engineer when it comes to modern facility, technology-wise, and all the rest. He's by name Gabriel, but they call him NJ Gabe. So, one,
My chairman.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yes.
NJ Gabe, you called me for phone. You say you want to come and air some certain things.
Yes. Yes.
And I said, come, let us iron it out so that our people will also hear from you and also hear from me. They know who is on the right track.
Yes.
Yeah, you told me something that regard to the invasion of the whites and then the peace they brought through political system.
Yes. Yes.
You know.
Aspect.
So I want you again to talk and make our people hear your own value or point so that me too, I go let you know where they go wrong and where they go right.
Okay. Well done, my people know. My name is Gabriel, and they usually call me Gabuski Bravo. Yes, you don't hear everything about me now, so no need of introduction again. See, you get waiting they worry me. That is why I had to come all the way from Lagos to come and sit here today. You understand? It started to do with this our invasion of the whites in Africa. You know, when the Europeans invaded us, they left us with something, which is government, system of government.
And other systems.
Or that system, but we are just looking at the governmental aspect of it.
Okay.
You understand? You know, without government, if there is no government, there is no rule of law. There is no society that can succeed without government. Government defines the people and how they operate. You understand? So now, the whites left off with something. When they were here, they were making use of indirect rule system, which is like the chiefs will come and they have representative. When they give order, then those chiefs will now go and enforce it. That is indirect rule system, whereby you can rule people from without coming to them directly, but one of your own will come and meet them. So when they left, they have to leave us with our own direct system so that we can help ourselves. You understand? So that is one of the benefits of all the things the Oyiwe people left for us, which is government. You
That is
understand?
politics.
Yeah,
System of politics.
Politics. You understand? In as much as the people that the politics is now in their hand have messed it up, they have bastardized it. That does not remove the fact that the whites had good thing in mind for us.
So now, what are the areas of the good things you think they have in mind for us? Like what and what? In the system of politics, what and what good thing do you think they have in mind for us?
Okay, this politics I'm talking about now brought about system of governance. You understand? Which brought about security in our system. You know, now you can see the army, the police are trying their best to eradicate insecurity in our system, in our society today. You understand? This is as a result of the good work of the British. You understand? So if they were not here, we wouldn't have gotten to where we are today. You understand? Now they introduced what they call democracy to us, which is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. You understand? So that is one of the benefits that the Europeans, they are coming, their benefit for us in this country. You understand? So you have this justice system. You understand?
As the Minister of Justice.
Yeah, I'm talking about Ministry of Justice, where the oppressed can go and seek justice and get it in no time. Okay. So that's the benefits. Okay. You understand?
So with all these things you counted now, gave you the leverage to say that the invasion of the Europeans was not harmful but good.
Yes, it was.
But I stand to correct you that the invasion of the Europeans was of more harm than good. In every ramification, you will see it. I don't stand to be corrected. Because why? First of all, before I go to the nitty-gritty of the invasion of the Europeans to Africa, their purpose, and then every other thing, let me tackle this area you talked about, Ministry of Justice. That Ministry of Justice is a place where the oppressed go and get justice.
Exactly.
It is a wrong ideology. Ministry of Justice is not what it is supposed to be. Because that justice, that Ministry of Justice, there is nothing justice about that ministry. It is a place where the rich use his own money to buy out himself, buy justice for himself. It is a place where the rich come and oppress the poor, even inside the court. So, there is nothing justice about that ministry. Now, let me take you down memory lane a little bit. You know, when you talk about the invasion of the whites, the Europeans, being beneficial to us, I say it is not true. Why? Because, okay, let's start from 647 when the Arabs, because when you talk about the first civilization that invaded Africa, it is the Arabs. The Arabs invaded Africa coast like in 647, they invaded Egypt, Tunisia, and Morocco. And at the moment they arrived Egypt, Tunisia, and Morocco, what did they do as invaders? They started sleeping with European and Egyptian women, Moroccans, and Tunisian women. Started sleeping with them and then rearing children that looks like them. And the purpose of this is to recreate these countries or these people from who they are into what they are not. Because your colonial master, the colonization of these people they want to make it total, both in their resources and human. And then they began to sleep with these women who began to give birth to people that looks like them. That is why if you go to all these countries I mentioned now, Tunisia, Egypt, and Morocco, you have black and colored, those who look like Arab. So these were the work of these Arabs. Until the European came and then invaded Egypt. When they came, invaded Egypt years after, they fought a battle with the Arabs, chased away the Arabs from the land of Egypt, which was then known as Kemet. Not now that the Arabs changed the name to Egypt. Now, when the Europeans came, they invaded and fought a battle with the Arabs, drove them out of the land and dominated the place, and began to change the narratives as deposited by the Arabs. Little did you know, any country where all these invaders go, they deposit two things to the land, and that two things that they deposit to the land and are compulsory, you must practice it, which is religion and language. When Arab invade Egypt, invade Tunisia and Morocco, what in they deposit there, first of all, are their language, which is Arabic, and then religion, which is Islam. So when the Europeans came, they fought this battle and drove the Arabs, took dominance of the place. As they can't dominate the place, they can't start to give them their own principles of life, which is more like they go church, and at the same time, more like they speak English. So, as time was going, in 14th century, 1459, a man called Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese. So I want to actually explain to you why I said the invasion of the Europeans or the Arabs into the land of Africa, not be for good thing, but for bad, or for selfish interest. Now, in 1459, a man called Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese. Vasco da Gama voyaged from Portuguese, heading to India. The purpose of his voyage is not because he wants to go and make peace or make good findings, but because of their selfish interest. Now, on his way, Vasco da Gama was accompanied with 4 ships and 114 men who accompanied him on that journey. As he was coming, he voyaged and saw this continent, people who are dark in complexion. And then he came and tried to settle to find out who they are and how do they live. The moment he discovered, he went back to Portugal and told them that he has discovered, you know, these Europeans, they have this nature and then this selfish interest of telling you that now then discover. You come, Miriam Makeba of South Africa said in her interview, she said, a place does not exist in Africa until a white man comes there. And then he tells you, boom, this place exists. The white man discovered. So when Vasco da Gama saw, he went and told the Portuguese that he had discovered another set of people. That was when the Europeans, the Portuguese, began to come into this place with the purpose of slave trade business. They came for slave trade and then to see how our resources are in order to milk from our resources. Now, when they began to invade, things started changing. And then, the moment they arrived, their sole aim was to come and conquer the place and then steal from them, take what they have, and then retire back to their own town. And then regulate their system, give them another mentality out of their own culture. Now, when they came, they began to manipulate us through religion and otherwise. But what they did vehemently was they strategized. In their own place where they came from, they don't have anything. They don't have natural resources as Africa have. They don't have strong men who build as Africa have. They don't have men with great thinking, reasoning as Africa have. So what they did was they can't try to see how they go take back people, begin to go outside the country. Meanwhile, before then, Christopher Columbus, whom we were told in school discovered America, had already gone to conquer America. Now, what they taught us in school was that Christopher Columbus discovered America. They did not tell us the consequences behind his discovery. Meanwhile, there were people who were indigenous people of America, the Colombians, the Red Indies, who were there already. But what they told us, they never told us in school, primary school, that there were people who were living there or existing in America. They only told us that he was one who came and discovered America. They did not also told us that Christopher Columbus was a Spanish who was sent by the Spanish dynasty in order to go and see how they can conquer America, the indigenes of this continent called America. He went and tried to see how he can conquer them. He did not succeed. Now what he did was, he tried to see how he can succeed. He didn't. He came back to Spain and told the dynasty that he could not succeed. They had to give him an effective bad drug, bad poison, with which he can use to go and conquer them. He went back with that poison and then made sure he killed thousands and millions of indigenous people of America. And when they died, they were remaining few. Those few, some of them scampered. Some ran away to present-day Colombia, Mexico. They scattered. Everybody ran away. So the little people that were remaining were feeble. They had no strength again. Christopher Columbus now dominated. And then they told us that it was Christopher Columbus that discovered America. Now, when there were shortage of people in the land of America, there were no people to farm in their farm, no energy, no strength, no people to do that. They initiated the slave trade to America. By a man, how do I put it? A religious juggernaut. I call them juggernauts. Everybody who is a religious person is a religious juggernaut. So, a man, Bartolomé de las Cascas, of the religious juggernaut, he was the person who told the slave traders, go and buy slaves from Africa and go to America in order to repopulate the people of America. In order for Americans, for them to see people who can farm in the land of America. For them to see people who can raise up America. Now, they began to come to Africa and begin to buy slaves through the help of King Alfonso of Portugal. King Alfonso of Portugal was a slave merchant who was also coming here to buy slaves into America because an order has been given. And the next King Alfonso of Portugal did not at a point came for slave trade on his own power. At a point he went to Roman Catholic Church and met with Pope Clement and Pope Nicholas V and told Pope Nicholas V that he wants to have an easy access in his slave merchantry. And then now that religion, Christianity has begun to dominate, that he wants to go into his slave trade merchant or merchandise in an easy way. The way we say you could take the easy for him. So collaborate. So he had to collaborate with the Roman Catholic, which Pope Nicholas V gave him a certificate to go into a convent and then get for yourself any missionary with which you will go to Africa. So that the missionaries will present themselves as messengers from God who is in heaven. One God who is in heaven that I don't even know. And now they came and met Machandre, easier for them. Do you understand? So, these people have no good purpose for Africa. And then a man who was called John Hawkins of Britain. John Hawkins was also a merchant in slave trade. When John Hawkins ventured into the slave trade, buying slaves from different parts of Africa to America, to repopulate America, to go and build back America. When he tried it and went back to Queen Elizabeth I and told Queen Elizabeth that he presented the money because he was a naval officer under Queen Elizabeth. When he presented the money to Queen Elizabeth she marveled. Come ask and say, how you get this money? Instead, he get the money through slave trade business. And then Queen Elizabeth became interested in the business and told him, today I am interested in this business of this slave merchantry. Make I bring sheep and bring people from my father's church. Because Queen Elizabeth, her father is the founder of Church of England, otherwise known as Anglican Church. King Henry VIII of England. So, she said, let me bring missionaries from the church, give you sheep, so that you can go and then pack slaves and go and sell and bring money. That was why, or how they sent the sheep that came, known as Jesus of Lubeck. She brought missionaries that accompanied John Hawkins of England, and they came and bought slaves, and then they left back to their place. Now, when you tell every average African that it is our forefathers, our ancestors that built Europe, our ancestors built America, our ancestors built Argentina, because there is a city in Argentina that you will go that was filled with blacks. And then blacks who were taken to Argentina were those who built Argentina, and then also fought the Battle of Argentina. When Argentina was having issues and battles, they were not sending their own people. They were sending those blacks to go and fight. Reason, because they did not want to raise black race in Argentina. They didn't want to have enough black race like America have done. So they were sending those blacks to go and fight so that they can be seen, or otherwise, why their purpose now, if they send those black people go, maybe they kill them in the war front so that they don't come back again to begin to populate in Argentina. Now, what you don't know is this. When the Arabs invaded Egypt, they were exporting the Egyptian women, Kemet, Upper Kemet. They were exporting their women to China for sex slave. Now, when they were sending them for sex slavery, they were selling them to China for sex slavery. And then the Asia, who were buying these women for sex slavery, we are killing these women because at a point when the women get pregnant, they kill them with unborn baby. The reason they are killing these people was because they did not want to have black race in their community. So they were killing these women. You see? So when somebody sits in his comfort zone and say that the Europeans actually did us well, that person have not gone to the nitty-gritty of the purpose and invasion of the Europeans. Now, at 18th century, a man called William Wilberforce. William Wilberforce woke up one morning and said that, okay, let us abolish slave trade. Now, when they tried to abolish slave trade, some people accepted the abolition of slave trade, while some people did not accept. At a point, generally the Europeans now embrace the abolition of slave trade. But the question is, when they abolished this slave trade, did they not replace it with another merchantry? The answer is yes, they did. Because the moment they abolished slave trade, what they did was in 1884 to 1885 in Berlin, a man called Otto von Bismarck, Otto von Bismarck had to introduce an idea of sharing Africa into different parts for everybody to come and take his own part. Instead of them, because at the point, they were fighting and struggling who went here and who did not go here. Why did he go to his? You know, I was there before. You know, Africa became a land of caricature for the Europeans, that anybody can come because of their natural resources and the knowledge and reasoning that they have, the power that they have. They were doing everything possible. Everybody was coming to come and be the grabber of a particular place.
Scrabble for
Yes, scramble for
Africa.
yeah?
Africa.
African scrambling, and then for their own selfish interest. Now, when Otto von Bismarck saw that this thing is beginning to bring problem, what he did was he said, okay, all Europeans come together. Let us hold a meeting here in Berlin. And then the essence of the meeting is, now that we have abolished slave trade through William Wilberforce, let us now plan on how to control these people, even in their own house. Now, they initiated the idea of divide and rule. And then they parceled all us out. They share Africa the way they want to share it. And then everybody began to grab. They said, okay, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Britain, wanna go. Togo, Benin Republic, Cameroon. Senegal, Cameroon, some part of Cameroon, France, oh yeah, wanna go take. Portugal, Cape Verde, Mozambique, wanna go take. And then some of these countries, Germany, Italy, as you know, Italy came to take Ethiopia. But because of the fact that Ethiopia had already been so strong from day one, Ethiopia refused the invasion of the Italians into their land, as you can see or know if you read, through the Battle of Adowa. The Battle of Adowa that the Ethiopians fought in order for Britain and for Italy not to take over. Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia was exiled as a result of this battle because they said no to Italy. That is why Ethiopia still remains the only country in Africa that was not colonized. So every other country who was weak were taken. And then, before you know it, Liberia in 1847, thereabout, 1848, thereabout, Liberia became the first country that gained their independence because as at that time, some of the Liberians who were taken to America had already started getting used to and opened their eyes to see the realities of life. And then they came back and fought and made sure that their independence was taken or gotten. They got their independence. So other parts of Europeans who still was overpowering their people, the people they colonized, they were still there living fresh, milking from us, taking everything that belongs to us. Now let me take you down memory lane. King Leopold II of Belgium. Now, King Leopold II of Belgium made sure he came to Congo, in African land. And that's why I say, when somebody sits in his comfort zone and begin to talk about Nigeria, Africa, Oyibo did us good, Oyibo did, you are not in line with the nature of what happened. King Leopold II, he came to Congo. When we were in school, they taught us in school that Adolf Hitler is one of the worst killer. They taught us in school. Maybe they taught you also about Adolf Hitler. Now, why did the Europeans told us that Adolf Hitler is a bad man, is a worst killer? Because why? Adolf Hitler killed the whites, the Jews. Now, because who he killed was the Jews, the whites, that is why they said he's a bad man. But King Leopold II of Belgium killed over 20 million Congolese. No day in school, in curriculum, or in teaching did they teach us that King Leopold II is a bad man. He's a bad killer. Because why? He killed Africans. Because why? He killed animals. Because why? He killed non-living human beings. Because why? He killed people who are not considered humans. Because why? He killed people they say they have a lesser God. He killed people they think they don't have values. That is why they didn't say King Leopold II killed. Now, why are you coming to people's base to kill them unnecessarily if you have good intention? Now, the same King Leopold II wrote a letter to the Belgian missionaries when they were coming to Africa to come and suppress with their religion. King Leopold II wrote a letter and he told them, the Belgian missionaries, not to teach Africans about a God, for they already know, for they serve one God, and Zamba and the other one he don't know. He also told them, when you go to Africa, do not teach them to reason. Teach them to read. Because you know that the moment a man shut down in reasoning, his own don't finish. So they gave us the knowledge of reading and reading and reading. So what are you reading? The question is, what are you reading? You are reading a book, initiative or initiation of a man. And what is education? Education is a system orchestrated to control the affairs of man, the lifestyle of a man. That is education. So he said, let them keep reading and reading. Don't let them reason. Because he knows that the day a man begins to reason, that is the day a man begins to become a man. Now, the man who have such idea, you say he came for good. Okay, what about here in Anioma? In 1883, the Ekumeku War that happened in Anioma by the Britain. The British came here and fought for 31 good years, fighting people in their land, the Anioma people, present-day Delta State, yes, present-day Delta State, Asaba, and that's territory in particular. Why are you killing and trying to destroy people? Except some men from Ibuzo, the king's men from Ibuzo, who said, we are not going to be here and watch you take what belongs to us or impose your policy on us. So the question is, if you meant well, what thing will make you come another man land? Can't they fight him for his own house? Try to kill him and his generation. Try to kill him and what he owns. If you have good intention.
Okay. When you're talking about trying to impose your authority on any set of people, you have a good mind. You might have a good intention towards them. You understand? Then you might meet resistance on the way. That's the reason why they fight these endless wars. You might get a resistance along the line, So, don't forget, Anioma cannot stand European power or British power for that long, you said. You understand? There must be another force fighting behind them to make them stand in that battle.
Now,
so that is a game of interest.
Good.
You understand?
Good. Now, when you talk about another force fighting these people, in that olden days, our people are peaceful. Africans are peaceful. Africans don't want trouble. We didn't know the invention of guns, bombs, grenades. All we know is that our den gun with which we hunt with and knife. So we didn't know about guns that can kill one person in 1 second. That gun invented that bomb that he can throw once and 20 people will die. Obunigwe. So we didn't have that idea because we are not killers, we are not destroyers. We are home of hospitality. Even till tomorrow, Africa is home of hospitality. As you can see, when a white man enters Africa, any African country, we welcome him with all open heart. We give him good reception. But when you as a black enter any European land or Western world, they treat you like a leper. First of all, they want to begin to cross-check you. They want to begin to treat you like a less privileged. Before they can 40% accept you in. But here in Africa, home of hospitality, land of hospitality, we don't scrutinize you to the point where you become embarrassed. We welcome you with open arms. Okay, so our forefathers, Africans, welcome these people with open arms. So when you talk about, if you have intention to come and tell somebody about a thing, there are two options. Is either the person say yes or no. And when the person say no, you go. When the person say yes, you stay. So why will somebody tell you no and you begin to kill the person if you have good intention?
Okay. Do you know about the Portugal invasion on Benin Kingdom? Do you know what led to it? So please, can you remember?
Tell us what led about it.
The first encounter the Portugal has with Benin Kingdom was for the king of Portugal at that time visited Benin Kingdom and established this educational relationship with them. You understand? Then there was, I don't know all the dates, but there was a time Benin people were having festival. You understand? Then Europeans, the Portuguese were followed to their kingdom, and the Europeans were used for sacrifice. Are you aware of that?
Europeans were used for
sacrifice by the locals in Benin Kingdom, which now led about the invasion of Benin Kingdom, that their artifacts were looted. Are you aware of that?
So, what sacrifice were the whites being used for that the Benin people didn't have people that can do that
They
sacrifice.
saw people with different color. They were confused.
Different color made them to sacrifice.
Yes, they were confused.
So are
They
you
were
now?
confused.
Are you telling me now
Yes.
that there was no act of sacrificial activities in the Benin Kingdom before the white man came?
Okay,
Or
okay.
did they just see the white man and say, "What? Oh boy, this one yellow. We go start sacrifice."
See here.
Was there anything like sacrifice before the white man came?
Yeah,
Or did they just see the white man and say, "Eh, oh boy, if you use this and start sacrifice, you go walk." Oh. You understand? So you see, all these things now waiting fallacy.
They were used for sacrifice, so that's why they invented.
Africans were peaceful. I have told you in 14th century when the Portuguese began to invent Africa, their purposes. So it is not what you said. What you are told is what the Europeans needed to use to defend themselves or back up their illegal actions towards Africans. Do you understand?
Okay, so sorry, sir. Are you saying now there is no good thing? There is both politically, religious, and educational that the Europeans brought that is good in Africa. Okay. Is that what you are saying?
Now, politically, you said something. You defined you said they gave us system of democracy.
Democracy, yes.
Government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Yeah.
Now, I ask people often, I say, what is democratic about this system? What is democratic about this system that a politician will rig an election and then go into court, and court will will it to him that he actually won the election? What is democratic about this in that every corrupt politician will still go back to London? If you are colonized, if your colonial master was France, you go to France to go and seek their consent. If your colonial master was London, you go to London. If your colonial master was Portugal, you go to Portuguese. If your colonial master was Germany, you go to Germany. If you don't go, you go to America to go and seek a politician that they know very well that is a criminal. A politician they know very well that is a you will go there and they will defend you. Now, what is democratic about this thing? I ask my African brothers and politicians, why do we still rely on the political democratic system of the Western man, John Kennedy defined democracy as government of the people by the people? Africans, what is your own system of democracy definition? We don't have. Until we rise up as an African to bring our own definition of democracy, we will continue to have politicians who are corrupt, eating our money under the umbrella of their colonial masters in disguise. Now, before you ask, let me take you down memory lane. When Africans, some part after the Liberia got their independence, other African countries began to wake up from their sleep and say, no, it is time for...
Liberia don't get independence.
No, they got independence.
No, you see how Liberia was formed there. Liberia were slaves in America that were settled. Then they asked them, they decided to relocate to Africa. You understand? So they now voyaged to a land. As they were going, they met some locals there. Those locals said no, that they will not stay there, and they fought a little small battle. And at the end of the day, they now had an agreement to settle there. So when they settled there, the president of Liberia then was President Moro of USA at that time. So the president was instrumental in their settlement at that place.
Liberia got their independence in the year 1847.
Okay.
1847 or 1848 was the year Liberia got their independence. So it was already an existing nation. You understand? So that one, the person tell you that in time, say make him not try tell you that kind of thing again.
Is this true?
No. Tell you that one, tell and say make him not try again. You know. So the date Liberia got their independence is okay. Open. Yeah. Okay. Now, to tell you more that these people meant no good. Now, these other countries who began to get their eye opened and decided that, okay, we want to go for our own independence, they started struggling for their independence. As you can see, in 1957, Ghana gained their independence. In 1960, Nigeria gained their independence. In 1961, Congo got their independence. In 1961 or 62, Togo got their independence. So a lot of countries began to get their independence. Now, these people who got their independence, Tanzania got their independence through Julius Kambarage Nyerere. Now, these people who got their independence, What happened after the independence? The Europeans still came. You said you gave somebody democracy. And then the moment this person is okay, oh yeah, we don't liberate from on our hand to come out. Let us go and govern ourselves. When I know Greek come out for there. The people will say you give democracy. That's why I say, when people talk about European giving us democracy or Western world giving us democracy, I say this democracy is still under the umbrella of the colonial tool with which they used to control our system and our reasoning and our behavior. You say you gave somebody independent. In 1957, Ghana got their independence. When Ghana got their independence in 1957, Kwame Nkrumah made a comment which was prevalent and conspicuous. He said, Ghana is free and will never be colonized again. But the independence of Ghana means nothing until the whole of Africa is free. Now, when the Britain heard him say such a thing, what did Britain do? They began to find a way. Say, oh, if we leave this man, the way we take talk, we know we'll get power again to to Gold Coast, which was the original name for Ghana. First name that the British gave Ghana, Gold Coast, until 1957, when Kwame Nkrumah now changed the name from Gold Coast to Ghana. So now they said, if we allow this Gold Coast, the way where this man take talk, all this gold where they collect and their resources where they collect and the control we have over them, we may not have it again. So what they can do? They can begin to strategize on how to set him up and then eliminate him, put him out of office in order to plant who they want. That was how in 1967, he was eliminated. He was removed through allegation. They alleged him that he was eating public fund. He was doing that one. Before you know it happened, bam, they remove her. Now, they didn't end it there. They went to Congo. When Julius Patrice Emery Lumumba got independence for Congo in 1961, how many months after? The Belgian came. Why did the Belgian come for Patrice Emery Lumumba? They came for Lumumba because on the day of independence, when the emissaries were handing over their freedom, he said on that very day, that's everything. When the emissary was telling them, can you imagine? That's why I say, when people don't know anything, close your mouth and stop praising people who actually meant evil for you. The Belgian was telling the Congolese, on that day of their independence, they still get mind. They still get the gods. They tell the Congo people, they tell Africa, say, make Congo no see King Leopold II of Belgium as a bad person. Somebody who killed their people, over 20 million of their people. You are telling them now that they should not see him as a bad person, that he actually meant well for them, and they should embrace him. Now, when he finished and then handed over the papers to Patrice Emery Lumumba, Lumumba now said that today Congo is free, that Congo cannot again suffer what they suffered before, that you don't have much thing to say. Now, the Belgian, the Europeans now saw the way he spoke and said, this one will talk like this. If we leave him, we will be Belgian. We're not going to get all the whole resources what they get from Congo. Because they know that Congo is the only country with the highest mineral resources in the whole world. So that was why they stampeded there to make sure that they capture Congo completely. And then they said, if we leave this man, what did they do? They laid allegation on him through his own brother. And then Patrice Emery Lumumba was eliminated. Sylvanus Olympios of Togo. When Sylvanus Olympios of Togo got independent for Togo, what happened? What did France do? France now looked at it and said, if we leave this guy, we're not going to get power again for this country. So what did they do? They eliminated Sylvanus Olympios through his own opposition brother. That is the orchestration of the whites. When we got independent here in Nigeria through Nnamdi Azikiwe and Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, what happened? Ifajuna, from nowhere, they came and plotted coup and eliminated Tafawa Balewa. Who orchestrated it? Britain. Who will I talk and leave the order? Is it Ahmed Bembela? Samora Moses Michel? Who will I say and leave another? Is it David Kaunde? Or Julius Kambarage Nyerere of Tanzania? Now, before you know what's in there happen, when these Europeans had their access to eliminate these people who meant well, am I talking about Muammar Gaddafi of Libya? Or should I talk about Nelson Mandela of South Africa? Who will I mention and leave another? Now, when these people saw that these people actually meant well for their people, and then they will not have access again into their territory, they began to eliminate them one by one. Then they did what they did was to introduce to Africans, these countries, they began to introduce gullible politicians into system. That is why you will not forget Mobutu Sese Seko Kugubendo was a banger. He was the one who made sure that Patrice M. Lumumba does not. Now, when he did it, today now, what is the fate of Congo? Mengistu held Mariama of Ethiopia. When he overthrew, what was the condition? Or should I talk about Gel Bedel Bokassa of Central African Republic? The man who killed little children because they did not buy school uniform from his wife. Is that the kind of people? These were people who gave joy to their colonial masters, France and Europe and Belgium. Presently, you see one, why am I forgetting Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso? Thomas Sankara, who sat and said, let Africans come. He told Burkina Faso, he changed the name of Burkina Faso from Upper Volta, as was given by the France. He changed the name from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso. And then he said, Burkina Bay will no longer have any reason to import goods from overseas. We shall no longer abide in foreign. Let us mine what we produce and then sell out instead of going out to come and buy. What happened? What did France do? France used his own best friend to eliminate him. And he knew that his own best friend, because when he went for the OAU meeting, the last OAU meeting that they attended, he told them that this thing he's saying here now, he may not come back again to say it. Because why? The person who is after his life is somebody that he cannot resist. The person that they are using to chase him is somebody that he cannot resist, is his best friend. After that meeting, that was the end of Thomas Sankara. Who orchestrated it? France. So, if these people meant democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, why are you instigating killing and destruction on those who are willing to practice democracy as the government of the people, by the people, and for the people? Instead of you now grooming bad eggs into the system, they brought, how will you forget Idi Amin of Uganda, who at first meant well, and then all of a sudden he began to kill both his own people. Robert Gabriel Mugabe, your namesake. Robert Gabriel Mugabe. At first, he was a good president of Zimbabwe because he renamed the name from Rhodesia to Zimbabwe. When he took over, he changed the name from Rhodesia to Zimbabwe, and he was good at first. All of a sudden, he started changing. And then Zimbabwe became one of the poorest countries in Africa. So, these people make sure that anywhere they put their legs, they make sure they come for destruction. Look at Cameroon. One country that have two speaking international languages. One is French, one is controlled by France, and one is controlled by English. There is a great conflict in this country. Because the Francophone side are saying that it is our right. The English side is, why are you fighting each other on behalf of a separate colonial master? These are the things we need to know. And then you begin to say, if these people meant democracy as the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, why are they orchestrating evil happening here in Africa without minding? Why are they causing destruction here in Africa without minding? So, my brother, when you talk about the Ministry of Justice, I tell people, the only way, factual way for justice to take place is for us to go back to our normal way of justice, which is through our traditional ways, our shrines and our ofo. The only justice that can give you true justice is our deity, our shrine, and our traditional staff, otherwise known as Ofo. Because you cannot stand before a deity. You can hold a Bible and lie and go scot-free. You cannot hold hold a staff, traditional staff, Ofo, before a deity and lie. If you go and succeed, know that that deity is under the influence of alcohol. So the best ministry of justice we have is that of our tradition. And then before the white man came with this politics, he's saying that he gave us good governance and they produced good justice. And don't forget that before they came, we were already ruling ourselves through kings and queens. And then when we were ruling ourselves through kings and queens, there was peace in the land. Because why? There is a law. Everything getting own rules and regulation. Law. And then you dare not go against that law of the land because the deity is involved. Every law, the deity is involved in that law. So if you know the law and go against it, you are going against the law of the deity and you will not live to tell the story. So when we were ruling ourselves through kings and queens, no police, no army, but there was peace in the land. But today now they can't give us peace and police and army. Insecurity everywhere, killing everywhere. Every day they invent gun. New latest kind of ammunition, sending it to Africa for us to use and be killing ourselves. While they sit on their television and watch how we kill ourselves. They say, this one knows a bit shoot. He didn't shoot him well. He didn't shoot him well. Drop the bomb and run. You understand? So that is what they are after. Mass destruction. So if you are talking about democracy, why are you inventing latest missiles? Who are you inventing missiles for? Is it animals? Is it trees? Is it non-living things? You are inventing missiles to kill a human being like you, born of a woman like you. And then you say, there is democracy. There is no democracy. Nothing like democracy. Democracy meant no good but harm. So if the white man thinks that democracy is good, take back your democracy. Let us, Africans, go back to our system. Our method of kings and queens ruling. Our method of, if you offend me, I offend you, we go shrine. If you steal from me and deny, we'll go to our deity. The gods of the land, fight for me.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, my brother.
Chaban. All these things we are talking about now is corruption. Both every community, every society, even the white men, they are all corrupt. Now, even the deity you're talking about, currently now, is corrupt. You cannot even get justice even in that shrine. Because currently now, I don't know if you are updated, because the idea you have now is the former deity idea. Currently now, even innocent person will still be destroyed in the deity you're talking about. So this corruption is everywhere.
Okay. Do you know what caused corruption? Do you know why the corruption became rampant?
Okay.
Corruption became rampant because when the Europeans invaded us and planted the knowledge of corruption, that is when corruption became too bad. That you will see your own brother in the name of religion stealing from people and he will go scot-free. You will see police collecting bribe and then nothing will be done. You will see soldiers going to kill innocent people. Nothing will be done. Now, who invented these systems that are killing people and extorting from people? Europeans. So you now, who is born, and then you grow and see things like this happen, you want to go and also fix yourself into tomorrow's system. Because you know that the system is not getting better, but worse day by day. So what you do now, if you don't have your mind strong or locked up like those of us who say we will still want the betterment of Africa, you now go and join them because you need to make money. So those deity you're saying, the deity is not corrupt. It is the man who is controlling the deity, who is serving the deity that is corrupt. And that man who is serving the deity that is corrupt, I tell people, I say, when you see a native doctor today, most of the native doctors we have today are not genuinely called native doctor by birth or by nature. These are people who just wanted to use it for business sake. And why are they doing it? You see, somebody go there now, they push barrel. Small time you go tell, say, God, call him. You go open one batcher, sew one suit, buy one microphone, call two people, begin to shout, Hosanna, hallelujah, Hosanna. Before you know what happen, people don't gather, they don't make money, don't go open bigger church. Now, some people, saw it and said, oh, okay, we too, let us go in a native way. And then begin to tell people that native doctor can make you have money. Native doctor can do this one for you if you bring money. So corruption began to spread. But when you see the real native doctors, the ones who were native doctor, but the day they born them, they know say, this one, the gods, na call them, na choose them. This thing befall on them, you go know. So these other ones where you say, where if you say corruption, they their head. Now the ones who just wake up one morning, go they do boy for native doctor house. From doing boy for native doctor house, the next day they don't go open their own shrine. The essence of doing boy for native doctor is because they want to see how they can also make money from it. Hence, somebody go push barrel, wake up one man and they say, God call him. You don't go open church. Somebody go do business for Ladipo. You know favor them. You go come out one man and they say, God call him. Somebody go do business for nature. You know favor them. You go they say, God. How many big men have you seen? How many rich men did you ever see that woke up one morning and left their business and say, God call them to go and open church? How many big men you see wake up one morning and say, God call and you go open shrine? All of big men they call. So now one person they, if frustration hold him, you know fit know what he go do. He go wake up one morning and say, God call him. You don't go begin to go training for native doctor. The other one don't go begin do training. Sometimes not even do training. We just open church immediately. They say, then call us. You understand? So the ones who get mind to go training, can't go do training 6 months. Can't learn all the whole abracadabra. How to talk, how to function, how to jump up, they can't go open their own. So the corruption began the moment the Europeans introduced their own ideas into our system. That is when corruption began heavily. So when somebody say that Europeans gave us democracy, please, that democracy is government of the people by the people, or that the Europeans, their invasion meant well for Africans. Sorry to disappoint you, my brothers and sisters. The invasion of the white man meant more harm than good. Because when you talk about the Europe, it is our ancestors that built that Europe. When you talk about America, it was our ancestors that built America with their knowledge and power. Now, after building those things, they took away the glory from the blacks and gave it to the white man. They made sure that those people who invented all those things were killed. After all, when we did for primary school, they give us what they call local craft. We do what is called local craft in primary school. I don't know whether I want to do them. We did it. Local craft, that time they go give you something, you go craft something, you go build something, you go either basket or
do flash arts.
You go do one thing, bring to school,
Now flash art they call them.
Again,
Flash art.
Oh.
That's the one you soak paper.
Use paper. So we they go and local craft.
You
understand? You go do paper cuts. You go put a rope. You go they fly. They go up. Paper cut. You go up. You go use borers. Take build motor. They drive them. You go use borers. That is borers. Take build borers. You go push you. You go control them with siren. All those things we are local craft. So imagine a child with that kind of knowledge. Then you put him in an enabling environment. Don't you know that child can produce a moving vehicle? But the white man came and took away that reasoning and gave us the education to go to school and start reading nonsense. We read. Oh, we read finish. We come outside. We can't invent anything but to speak big English. I don't want to talk about education. On a very good day, we'll talk about education. But I'm talking about this political system. So my brother, there is nothing democratic about the system where Oyibo man give us. I tell my African brothers, let us have our own system of democracy definition. Let us not again by Abraham Lincoln, by John Kennedy, who said government of the people. Let us Africans have our own definition of democracy. By the time we have our own definition of democracy, then Africa will stand strong. Africa will stand on her own and know her right direction to take. But the moment we continue defining democracy in this manner, politicians will continue rigging election. Politicians will continue suppressing the poor. The rich will continue pressing us down. I tell somebody, I say, you think there is justice in that ministry? The same Oyibo man who gave you Ministry of Justice was the same Oyibo man who trained lawyers that can actually enter that Ministry of Justice and defend the criminal, defend the murderer, defend a rapist, defend the kidnapper. Who taught the lawyer Some people, they go school, say they go study criminal law. So who taught that criminal lawyer? Who taught that man to go and defend a rapist? Who taught him the knowledge to go and defend a kidnapper? Who gave him the idea, the knowledge, the codes, the quotations to go and defend a murderer? The same Oyibo man. And inside that same Ministry of Justice. Are we supposed to be talking about a man standing as a lawyer to defend a criminal in the court of justice? In the house of justice? Do we need a lawyer to come and defend a murderer in that same house of justice? Do we need a lawyer to come and defend a killer, a destroyer, Boko Haram, a killer, a suicider, a terrorist in the house called Ministry of Justice? Do we need a lawyer to come and defend such a person? The answer is no. So if there is reason for them to do it, that means there is no justice in that house. I get you?
Yes.
I get you. So now, do you agree with me now that the invasion of the whites
I agree.
It hard?
I agree.
You agree?
Agree.
My people, come to comment section. Let us see also whether you agree or you did not agree. If I was able to move you to accept or to agree, talk and say you agree. If not, if you follow him, then come say I no agree. Let us discuss him again. Yeah? You are open to, this place is open for you. If you have an idea or knowledge about anything, contact me. If I approve it, if it's okay, we invite you, you come. You understand? Let us hear your own opinion. See you in the comment section. Thank you, Gaboski Elala. Thank you.